It's hard to believe that 2024 has come to an end. In a wild year for the theme park industry, there were many ups and downs, much like a roller coaster ride itself. Some events were met with the anticipation of cresting over the lift hill into the drop, while others felt like the gut punch that comes with being launched out of the station at a breakneck speed. There were so many significant events in the coaster world this year that it would be impossible to try to cover them all in this video. So I'm going to break down this year's events by month. I'll try to discuss the single biggest event of every month, but even so, there will be some months with several events that have had a huge impact on the industry, and I'll be sure to cover those. Here are the biggest roller coaster news stories of every month in 2024. The world's fastest roller coaster, Formula Rosa at Ferrari World Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, was closed indefinitely on January 22, 2024. The Intamin hydraulic launch coaster reached a top speed of 149.1 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds. The park did not cite a reason for the closure and did not provide a reopening date, so it is unclear if this coaster will ever reopen. Sadly, closure of record-breaking coasters will be a recurring theme for this year. Universal Studios officially announced the layout of their new theme park, Epic Universe, this February, set to open in Orlando with a planned opening of May 25. This park is part of a 750-acre development and will include 5 themed areas. The main hub will be called Celestial Park. The other lands will spoke out from this entry hub. Celestial Park will include the main attraction, a dueling launch coaster by Mach Rides, Stardust Racers. Another land is Dark Universe, themed to Universal's classic monster films. This will include a Mach launch spinning coaster, Werewolf's Curse. The next land will be How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, themed to the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. This will include a launched Intamin coaster, Hiccup's Wing Gliders. Next is Super Nintendo World, which will feature the unique, highly themed coaster Minecart Madness. The final land is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the Ministry of Magic, which is, of course, themed to the Harry Potter franchise. This land will feature a motion-based ride, Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. In March, Intimidator and Intimidator 305 at Carowinds and King's Dominion, respectively, reopened with the more generic names Thunder Striker and Project 305. The reason for this being that their parks lost the licensing to use Dale Earnhardt's trademark nickname, the Intimidator. I don't know what's happened to our country that we can't have roller coasters named after Dale Earnhardt. But in more serious news, on March 30th, 2024, Branson, Missouri's Silver Dollar City opened their new roller coaster, the reimagined Fire in the Hole. This was a recreation of the classic coaster dark ride hybrid that operated in the park from 1978 to 2023. This new coaster was built by RMC and appears to faithfully recreate the dark ride scenes and ride experience of the original. It's also the first family coaster project completed by RMC. Also in March, it's notable that the former world's fastest accelerating coaster, Dodonpa at Japan's Fuji-Q Highland, closed. The S&S compressed air launch coaster reached a top speed of 111.8 miles an hour in just 1.6 seconds, but after several issues, it remained closed for 3 years. It was officially retired and began being dismantled by the parks on March 14, 2024. Mach Rides completed their first installation of the new Striker coaster model with Voltron at Germany's Europa Park, which opened on April 26, 2024. The ride is appropriately themed to Nikola Tesla's experiments, since it itself is an engineering marvel. The ride features forward and backward sections, a dark ride section, multiple launches, unique inversions, and even a bounce track. This looks to be one of the most extraordinary coasters ever built and will hopefully set a new standard for the industry going forward. In May 2024, several notable coasters debuted. Hyperia, the mock hypercoaster, opened at Thorpe Park. The B&M dive coaster Iron Menace opened at Dorney Park, and two new Vekoma family boomerang coasters opened, Good Gravy at Holiday World and Snoopy's Soapbox Racers at Kings Island. However, the most anticipated opening would be Top Thrill 2, which opened at Cedar Point on May 4th, 2024. Top Thrill 2 is the reimagining of the record-breaking Intamin Strata coaster Top Thrill Dragster. It features a triple swing launch to reach a top speed of 120 miles an hour, a 420-foot backward spike, and a 420-foot top hat. Unfortunately, the launch of the coaster to the public was a failure. A part on the new trains manufactured by Zamperla was identified that needed to be redesigned, and the attraction was closed less than 1 week after opening on May 10th. The park plans to reopen the ride in 2025. June was a fairly slow month in the coaster world. Although several new coasters opened, the most significant was Bobcat at Six Flags Great Escape in Queensbury, New York. This Gravity Group wooden family coaster replaced the park's bobsled coaster, Alpine Bobsled. It is significant for being the park's first new coaster since 2005 and the first park original coaster in the Great Escape's history. On July 2nd, 2024, the Six Flags Cedar Fair merger was completed. With the initial announcement coming in 2023, two of the largest regional theme park operators combined their assets to compete with the larger destination theme parks like Disney and Universal. The new company is worth $8 billion and operates 27 theme parks, 15 water parks, and 9 resorts in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, with a new park scheduled to open in Saudi Arabia in 2025. Nearly 50 million guests visited these parks in 2023, and compared to Universal's 60 million guests, the new company is bringing in a similar share of the market. In August, many new ride announcements came, and many of these rides are going to the new Six Flags chain in 2025. A Premier Rides launch coaster, Alpine Fury, was announced for Canada's Wonderland. Quantum Accelerator, an Intamin launch straddle coaster, was announced for Six Flags New England. Rapterra, a B&M launch swing coaster, was announced for Kings Dominion. A B&M dive coaster, Wrath of Rakshasa, was announced for Six Flags Great America. Finally, Snoopy's Racing Railway, an art engineering family launch coaster, was announced for Carowinds. Flash Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Great Adventure and Georgia Surfer at Six Flags Over Georgia were originally scheduled to open in 2024. But it was announced in August that their openings would be pushed back to the spring of 2025. Cedar Point announced Siren's Curse, a Vekoma tilt coaster that would be the first of its kind in North America, in September. It seems that this roller coaster was originally planned to be built at Six Flags Mexico, and the parts were even in storage there until 2024. Perhaps due to the failure of Top Thrill 2's opening, Cedar Point wanted to make up for it by building this coaster next season. It's interesting that Cedar Point will be able to claim this attraction as the first tilt coaster in North America. Another coaster, Circuit Breaker, at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, was originally announced in 2022, but it seems that this ride's opening will be pushed back to 2025 as well. In October, Busch Gardens Williamsburg announced that their infamous Big Bad Wolf coaster would be returning in 2025. The original Big Bad Wolf was an aerodynamic suspended coaster which opened in 1984 and closed in 2010. It was one of the first ever coasters to be suspended below the track and featured ride vehicles that would swing freely. The new ride, which is to be called Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge, will be an inverted coaster manufactured by B&M, but will have an entirely different layout and does not appear to have swinging trains like the original. On November 11th, 2024, the world's tallest, fastest, and fastest accelerating roller coaster, King Ka, was closed. King Ka stood 156 feet tall and reached a top speed of 128 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. Great Adventure, which operated the coaster, did not announce the closure until the day of, but there were plenty of rumors online that it would soon be closed for weeks leading up to the closure. As much of a massive shock and disappointment it was, the biggest dissatisfaction of King Ka's closure was that in its nearly 20 years of operation, I never got to ride it. King Ka was yet another record-breaking coaster to be closed this year, with Top Thrill 2 left standing but not operating this season, and the apparent closure of Superman Escape from Krypton. Fury 325 is now the tallest operating coaster in the US, and the second tallest in the world, behind Red Force. It is also the second fastest roller coaster in the world, behind Red Force, tied with Steel Dragon 2000. Of course, as long as Top Thrill 2 reopens next season and Falcon's Flight opens on schedule, Fury 325's records will be completely smashed. Finally, we come to the current month and the end of the year. On December 11th, Universal Studios Japan opened their expansion of Super Nintendo World, Donkey Kong Country. The expansion nearly doubled the size of the land and features jungle theming with ancient ruins, a faithful recreation of the landscapes in the Donkey Kong games. The main attraction in this area is Minecart Madness, a Donkey Kong themed roller coaster similar to the one that is set to open at Epic Universe next year. Well, those have been, in my opinion, the biggest roller coaster and theme park events of every month this year. I'm sure I missed some things, so if I missed anything that was big news to you, let me know in the comments. There will be plenty more roller coaster and theme park content to come on this channel in 2025, so please subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on my next voyage.